who's actually going to get the most out of a big seat power lift recliner, who could probably walk away better off without it, and does the price make sense for a typical household? If you've ever watched a movie night turn into a backache marathon, or if you're caring for an older family member who struggles getting up from a regular chair, those are the questions that keep popping up. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I spent a solid week watching how the KswyyuwxgqI modern large electric power lift recliner behaves in 3 very different scenarios: a senior dad who likes to read the newspaper in the morning, a home theater enthusiast who binge watches series on the weekend, and a couple of friends who just wanted a big comfy spot for a game night. The goal wasn't to write a glossy brochure, it was to see whether the chair actually lives up to its promises when people use it for the things they care about most. First off, the most obvious thing people notice is the size. A 26-inch wide seat feels more like a small sofa than a traditional recliner, which means you can settle in with a tablet, a bowl of popcorn, or a knitting project without feeling cramped. The hidden cup holders in the armrests are a subtle win, no more juggling a drink on the arm of the couch or worrying about spills. For anyone who spends long stretches in front of a screen, that little convenience reduces the number of pause and get-up interruptions. The power lift function is where the chair truly separates the need-to-have from the need-to-have. The motor glides you from a fully upright position to a relaxed recline in under 10 seconds, and the reverse motion assists you back to a standing posture. In my tests, the mechanism felt smooth, not jerky, and the weight capacity of 350 pounds held up even when my dad, who tops out at about 240 pounds, leaned forward to grab his remote. For seniors who have limited knee strength or arthritis, that assisted lift can be the difference between staying seated comfortably and struggling to stand, which often ends up in a call to a caregiver. Now, let's talk about the massage and heating elements features that tend to be the deal-breaker for many shoppers. The chair offers a 3-zone massage that you can turn on with a simple button on the side panel. In practice, the vibration is gentle enough to relax tense shoulders but not so strong that it feels like a deep tissue session. The heat function runs on a low-watt setting. It's pleasant for chilly evenings and seems to help ease sore muscles after a day of gardening. The downside? Both features are controlled by separate switches, and there's no combined massage plushie mode, so you have to toggle back and forth if you want both at the same time. One practical weakness that shows up after a few days of use is the armrest depth. Because the seat is so wide, the armrests sit a bit farther apart than you might expect, which can make reaching the side pockets feel awkward if you have shorter arms. I noticed my dad occasionally stretching to pull a magazine from the side pocket, which could become a nuisance over time. It's not a deal-breaker, but it's worth mentioning for anyone who plans to keep reading material or remote controls within arm's reach. Another point of friction is the power cord. The chair comes with a single cord that runs down the back of the frame, and while the manufacturer provides a basic cable management clip, the cord can still be a tripping hazard if you rearrange the room or have kids running around. In a home theater setup where the chair sits in the middle of a darkened room, you'll want to make sure the cord is tucked securely or consider an extension with a short cord length to keep the area tidy. What about installation? The recliner arrives partially assembled. You need to attach the footrest and plug it into a standard 110V outlet. The instructions are straightforward, but if you're not comfortable with a bit of DIY, you might need a friend or a family member to help lift the heavy base onto the floor. The weight of the unit over 100 lb is definitely noticeable, and it's not something you want to maneuver up a narrow staircase without a plan. That's a practical consideration for anyone living in an apartment or a house with tight hallways. Looking at price versus value, the chair sits in the mid to high range for power lift recliners. You're paying for a combination of lift assistance, built-in massage, heating, and the generous seat dimensions. For a family that already has a dedicated movie room chair, the extra cost may feel unnecessary. However, for households with an elderly parent who needs the lift function daily, the price starts to make sense because it replaces both a separate lift chair and a separate massage unit. In that sense, you're getting 3 pieces of furniture in one. Who should walk away from this product? if you're a single young adult looking for a sleek, minimalist chair for a small